Okay, what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Hillsborough and Hunterdon Real, where I get to interview the local experts and regional experts about whatever their passion is in their story. So today, I'm lucky enough to have my new friend and neighbor, Shavinda Peiris, on. And before I start peppering him with some questions, Devin was outside one day, and we had seen Shavinda walk up and down the street with his son, throughout the prior months. Maybe we said, "Where does this guy live?" Because where we live, there's only like six houses. There's not that many people back here. And then anyway, him and Devin got to talk, and he lives right on the corner on the main street on Amwell. And a couple of days later, I was fortunate enough to meet him. And Shavinda came to the gym about a week and a half ago and did an active meditation, which was really cool. So we're going to be looking to do more of that. So, Shavinda, thanks for joining me today, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kyle. I'm really
Yeah,
excited to be here.
yeah, man. So let's dive into just a little background about you first. Tell us about. I know you have a son, so tell us about your son. Tell us where you're from, where you're living now, and then we'll kind of dive into your journey.
Okay, so yeah, my son is 3 years old, and he, he's a fighter. He's been dealing with some serious health issues, and it's much better than before, and things are getting a lot better. So yeah, I'm an immigrant from Sri Lanka. I came from Sri Lanka, and I moved here when I was 16, and I went to Penn State University, chemical engineering, and then I went into chemical sales, and ended as a corporate sales manager, and then kind of went into some consulting after that as well. And yeah, when my son started having his health issues, my life kind of changed a lot, and yeah, and the direction of where I was taken was just kind of out of my control at a point in my life. And I had to kind of overcome all those things, and I'm still going through the training. I think we all have to every single day to make ourselves better. So it's still something that I am working with, the PTSD and the anxiety and everything that happened from those issues. And yeah, and I learned something during that time. I learned you know control over emotions, control over we're living here on earth, and it's a ball spinning around the sun right now. And you know we don't really have the answers to everything, and sometimes when life hands you something, you don't really know how to go about dealing with it, right? And I learned a lot, and I kind of want to give back, and kind of want to you know uh, using those learnings and using those the things I've experienced to kind of give back to the people I'm working with now. I started life coaching, started dancing too, started doing that as well. And I wanted to kind of get into the meditational stuff, and the I don't know if I call it yoga, I call it flow meditation. And it's something I started doing as well, because meditation is something that helped me tremendously during my time of going through the issues I went through. And yeah, so I kind of want to do so that's what I'm doing. I'm life coaching now. I'm cricket coaching, being a full-time dad, and I'm dancing when I have the opportunity to dance. And yeah, it's
Cool, man. So let's talk about. So you went to Penn State. I have two brothers. I think I told you that went there. One of them went for mechanical engineering, and it's interesting because you went for chemical engineering. He took a completely different path. He's a world-class poker player now, and you took a
wow.
different path than staying with the
I
engineering.
would love to meet him.
Yeah, I'll let you know next time he's around. He's kind of a traveling man. um, so the catalyst for switching, and going down this other part of your path, this other part of your journey with the life coaching and the dance and whatnot, the catalyst was when your son began to have health issues. Was that what kind of made you say, "Wait a minute, there's something else here"?
Yeah, Kyle, it wasn't something that happened overnight. It was something that, who you are as a person is something that you decide and you keep going. And, when you know, I look at, I say the word God, but when I say God, I mean creator, the source, you know, whatever this is. And, you know, he kind of tested me and kind of really kind of, you know, made me ask a lot of questions. And yeah, that's really the catalyst of how everything changed in my life. And, you know, that really just, you know, his longest seizure was 2.5 hours.
Wow.
His second longest was 2 hours. So, and he's a fighter and he's gone through a lot. And I really, after he's like those 2 hour seizures, I really didn't even know if he was going to wake up. And, but he, you know, you saw him, you know, he's doing great. So he has a very, very rare, where he's only one in the database of the genetic database that's out there with the issue that he has for epilepsy. So it's something new, and you know, he's fighting it, and he's gotten a lot better. And yeah, I guess, yeah, that's kind of the catalyst, really. There's nothing else. And there's a lot of things. I mean, you know, I grew up in a war, you know, in a civil war in Sri Lanka. You know, there's a lot of things happening there in time, but there's a lot of things that happened in my life even after, but nothing really became a catalyst for that change until he kind of like showed that to me. And here I am.
So it all kind of is taking you down this path. Talk about too, because I don't think a lot of people are familiar with the Civil War that you grew up in, and what, you know, your upbringing in Sri Lanka, and when you moved here. Talk about how that experience, and then talk about how that's kind of shaped your mind and your spirit.
So yeah, I mean, you know, growing up, we were, you know, in the country, the Sri Lanka that I was living in, there was a civil war. And it was a very interesting time, you know, because I was in a, you know, at the time it was just, it's what it is, and here we are, this is just what's going on. But then, you know, when you grow up and you kind of realize, you know, why it happened, you know, like really look into all the details, and, you know, it's just sad. And in all honesty, humanity loses. And, you know, and these are things I didn't even really think about. But, you know, like when you really look back at your life and look at how you got to where you got to, and everything kind of puts a little bit of something into it, you know. And I honestly look at life like a, you know, kind of like a tree, and a tree is that's right in front of us, and it's something that's uh, God's, like, it's there, right? It's something that's from the universe. And like a tree has all these different branches, and, you know, it goes all the way up to the top. And I look at life like a tree where, you know, you're in one branch, like you're born until you kind of start school, you're in like one branch. And the branches are completely up to you, and how you kind of like put your life, where you put your life into the buckets that you put in. And then you go to another branch, you go to your school, and you go to your college. You know, you just have all these different branches, and you just keep going. And yeah, and you learn something in each branch. And, you know, that's kind of how I started looking at life. And yeah, so I'm kind of on a new branch now with this coaching, and you know, on the dancing, and I'm excited for it, and see how it goes.
Yeah, well, tell us. Let's talk about your dancing, because you know, I've watched you on YouTube, and we'll make sure we plug that at the end where people can see you on YouTube, and you get thousands of views. But talk about how that's been therapeutic for you. How'd you get into the dancing? What's the focus of the Dancing Dad channel?
Yeah, so so Dance Dad is honestly, like, I've never wanted to be a dancer in my life, and whoever knew me really well before anything happened knows that I've never ever told anyone that I wanted to be a dancer. It's never something I really wanted, you know. It's just, I've always been attracted to dancing. I've always been a very high energy individual, and I've always been attracted to different forms of dancing. And so I've done I did a ballroom dancing class at Penn State. Pretty sure I got an A in it, and I can't remember. I did that and learned a lot there. And I also did, you know, a lot of different Indian dancing, Bhangra dancing, Garba dancing, And I've also, like, growing up, Michael Jackson was a huge, huge idol of mine.
Sure.
Until, things kind of changed with him. And but yeah, when I was growing up, when I was really young, just watching him perform was just such an amazing thing for me to see. And I really enjoyed it, and I always try to mimic it. And 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 when my son started having the issues he started having, I went through I went to a place where I couldn't do the things I used to do, with my work. And there's a lot of things at work in corporate America. It's very stressful. They put a lot on you, and it was something that I was able to handle until, like, I kind of got hammered with this seizure stuff. And then it kind of took me to a place where dancing started becoming an outlet. It became a therapy. It became a place where I could just go into to forget what was really going on, and just pray. I also pray when I dance too. So it's something I do. Because there's different forms of prayers. Everybody prays differently, and nothing's right or wrong. It's everything's right as long as you're doing what's true by you and what's right by you, and it's right. And so I started doing that as well. And yeah, I was put in a place in life where my answers, the only, doctors had no answers for a long time. And it's a long time. He fought. I think he's had definitely over 100 seizures, but I'm not really sure if it's 150. I don't know. Stopped counting a long time ago. Yeah, so it was a really nice thing for me to do. When you're going through a lot of tough times, you have a lot of high energy, you get angry really easily. And like right now with the election, there's a lot of angry people out there from both sides, really. And, it's, you go through tough times, you get hammered, and when you have an outlet of something, and dancing was something, it just happened. I went into like some, live music events, and kind of just started dancing. And and it just kept happening. And then just the videos started coming, and I met a great person. His name is Shavinda Peiris. He has his own thing that he does with artistry things that he does. And we kind of met in life, like you and I met. And we started doing the video. So that video you saw was shot by him. And he, we're planning on doing some cool activity, cool videos for the future as well. And so we're working on that. And now things are closed, and all the dancing things are closed. But what I want to do with the dancing is to dance at music festivals, live concerts, etc. Live dancing. So it's not choreographed. It's completely freestyle, live music, and that's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah, cool.
Because dancing is all completely freestyle. Every single dance. Now we're kind of like, like thinking a little bit more. And in the beginning, I was just doing it. And what you saw, that dance you saw, was one of my most meaningful dances. And there's a message in it for me. There is, when I look at it. And yeah, so it's been pretty heavy, and the dancing has really helped. It gave me an outlet to kind of focus on while things were really just not that great.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of, from what I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot of, a lot of things about the dancing. I learned a lot about it, and now I'm kind of trying to use that and put it into practice now.
Sure. So the dancing is more for yourself and your own therapeutic outlet?
Initially, yeah, it really was. And it was just, I really didn't know what I was doing when I first started it. I was just dancing, and I was just really lucky to get people to help me out with the camera work and stuff like that. And again, like I said, meeting Shavinda was a huge thing for me, because he is in that world of like doing the artistry things that he does. So it was a really great union, and we started working together, doing projects together. And it was initially for me, and I mean, whatever everyone does in life is really for them, right? And if there's something that you can give back where people kind of want to see something, like with the dancing, like I realized people like watching it, because that's kind of why I kind of kept doing it too, because I realized people enjoyed watching it, and that made me feel nice, and that made me feel good that, you know, I'm doing something that people like to see.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool stuff, man. I'll put some links up when I post this so people can watch some of those videos.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool, man. Now, talk about your style. What you took us through at the gym a couple weeks ago with your type of flow meditation, right, or active meditation. Talk about your philosophy with that and how that came to be.
So that's a great question. So last year, it became a lot, and I actually ended up living at a temple. That's kind of where I ended up. And, you know, there's a lot of things I did there from a perspective of, you know, gaining life knowledge and understanding. You know, there's a lot of things that I lived with a monk there as well. And a lot of experience I got from it, and meditation was part of it. So I wanted to kind of show that. And, you know, I've, you know, ever since I was in Sri Lanka, I was always going to I was going to Sunday school, and I was raised a Buddhist, and I used to go every Sunday. My parents used to take me, and I did exams and everything in Buddhism, and I even did a religious studies class at Penn State too. I did it at the time, you know, I had no idea I'd be doing a meditation class at Newell Strength, you know, and but I did it, and I learned a lot about religion as well, and the meditation, the dancing is meditation. So, you know, that the dancing is something that I do. I meditate before I do it, and then I dance, and so just like that, everything in life I believe is a meditation, and you know, that's kind of what I'm applying to my cricket coaching as well, and my life coaching as well, really. And so the meditation is something I wanted to kind of try to do. Like, you know, it was the first time we did it, so you're the only one who can really tell your audience how you liked it. And but yeah, it's something I think is useful for people, and I think it's something that is kind of picking up steam now a lot. A lot of people are meditating, which is great. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to show how I do it.
Sure.
And you know, and what do you think? So tell me.
It was great. I'm a big meditation guy. You know, I'm big into visualization, and then I also do meditations and a lot of breathing work. So I thought it was really cool because there's a different slant on it, you know, where you actually got it. And it wasn't, you know, you got us up moving, but it wasn't anything crazy, where we could still focus on our breathing and stay calm. But the stuff with the hands and the wrists, you know, I thought it was neat. And the time flew by. I mean, I was shocked when it was over. I think it was like 50 minutes or so, maybe an hour, but it went fast, which means it was good. But I thought it was cool, man. I think people can really benefit from it. And, you know, I look forward to, you know, having you do that to some of the other clients too. Now, let's dive in to your passion now as far as your career, the life coaching you're talking about. So what's your philosophy with that? What are you trying to help people do on their journey?
So I think everyone, what they need is different, right? Everybody, every single person is very unique. You know, you have 7 billion different people with 7 billion different views on life. And, you know, I you know, what I'm trying to really do is keep it really simple, and I understand that everything you need to know is inside of you, right? And you know, I've said this before. Somebody asked me, I wish life came with a manual, and I said it does. It's right in here. Mm-hmm. You know, and what I want to do with the coaching, the life coaching, is kind of take what's inside of you and maximize your potential, really. So, performance and mindset really is my focus area. So athletes, any athletes, yeah. So that's kind of what I started doing. And there's different aspects to life coaching because everyone kind of brings a different thing to the table. So it's really the core of it is really just understanding that every situation is different and understanding that the person really has the answers in here, and my job is to kind of take that out.
Sure, man. It's cool, man. I think it's all kind of coming. You're blending everything very nicely. As you grow as a person and what you're trying to offer potential clients and the world at large, man. So it's inspiring. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Now, are you big into? We haven't gotten to talk too much off air. Are you big into reading? Anything along those lines?
I'm not big. I was a kid with ADHD. I had severe ADHD, and I believe ADHD is just something that is high energy. Is what it is, right? And so another thing about the life coaching is I really want to help people kind of control their energies. I think that's really the most important part of life, really, to understand how to control your energy and just kind of moving forward with that, right? And you do get tested. It's not something you can always, you can't always say you're at the right energy levels. It's just no one can say that. It's different. Like, when life throws things at you, things change, and it's about understanding that and just kind of just being in the right mindset for each thing. Yeah.
Okay. What if you were to look project out? Let's say you're daydreaming. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? What are you doing 5 years from this moment?
Well, 5 years from now, my kid will be 8. So, okay, so, when you go through different things, like, for us, even him walking was a big thing for us. We were at a point in life where we didn't even know if he was going to do that. And he just started walking a couple of months ago, really. And so now my next big thing is for him to start talking to me. So, like, that's my next big thing. And I think it's going to happen. So what I want is, to have some meaningful conversations with him, because, he's someone who really changed my life. And yeah, so 5 years from now, with that, with the life coaching and the dancing, Kyle, I'll be very honest with you. It is what it is. Like, wherever I am in 5 years, like, I really have started taking life one day at a time. It's just what I've had to do. And I 5 years from now, I mean, if it's at a place where I'm dancing on stage at Ultra, EDC, all these music festivals, great. And if it's not, I'm gonna still maybe just keep trying to do it. Let's see. I mean, I don't know. So I don't really have any big plans or big dreams or anything like that. I want to help out as many people as I can. I believe in good vibes, karma, all of that. So I do want to help out as many people as I can to kind of get those good vibes, the good karma. And yeah, that's really all I kind of vision for the next 5 years, really.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 34.
24. So if you were to go back and give your 20-year-old self some advice, like knowing what you know now, what would you
I'll tell him to hire a life coach.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
100%.
What would be the reason you would tell that 20-year-old Shavinda?
It's one of those things, right? We all grow up, we all take a long time to grow up, and when people ask about my kid and they're like, oh, one of my really good friends of a long time, he always asks me, look, is he normal? Like, is he normal? Like what's normal, right? And I tell him, like, it took me a long time to grow up. He can take his time, right? It doesn't matter. And but yeah, the 20-year-old self, I'll tell him to hire a life coach. I'll tell him to start meditating. And that's really it. And it depends how much time I have with him, you know. Probably kick his ass a little bit.
Rough him up a little bit, man.
Rough him up a little bit. Yeah.
So where can for people that and I'll put all the links in the show notes, but if people are interested in the meditation like you did with us, if they're interested in your life coaching, what's the best way for them to find you and get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm we're working on a website and everything like that, so it should be, that should be done by the end of the year. But I think the best way right now is through Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is Dance Dad Live. That's my Instagram handle, and my Facebook is Dance Dad as well. And that will probably be the best way. And just send a message, and I'll reach back out and just have a conversation. No, my first call is, it's free. Okay. The first initial call, and then what you want to do going forward is completely up to you or the client or whoever it is. So that's kind of yeah. And yeah, if any of your audience members needs to reach out to me and can't find me, they can always obviously reach out to you, I'm sure. And
oh yeah, and I'll be blasting this out. I'll also put your YouTube. Is that Dance Dad? Is that
Dance Dad? Yeah, Dance Dad YouTube, and just one word, Dance Dad.
Okay, cool, man. Any before we get off the live here, any parting words of wisdom as people head into this potentially chaotic week with the election today and whatnot? Any words of wisdom from Shavinda?
I think words of wisdom would be just to take things easy and take things in stride. End of the day, we don't even know how we're spinning around. We're moving at 67,000 miles per hour. We have no control. And there's something I've realized, like, you can, life is something, it's a dance between free will and destiny. Right. Your karma kind of brings you to the moment today. And then when you realize that, how you take your life forward is completely up to you. And I think, given the times we're in, kindness is a really, really big thing that we should totally be focusing on. Kindness and just understanding that, we're living in a world where right now internet's kind of going up, and there's news coming out, and all this fake news. They're all from, both sides, really. There's really that. And then how are you kind of able to understand when someone is kind of putting something out there that's trying to make you upset? Just realizing these things, and just kind of promoting kindness and promoting understanding that, don't take life too seriously. Definitely don't take the election too seriously, and president too seriously, because it's if you to each his own. And yeah, that honestly, really, if I have just to sum it up in a statement, it would be: live like you die tomorrow, treat people like you live forever.
Okay. That's great, man. That's a good one to close it out on, man. So let me just bring this to a stop here, buddy.